Probably should remember to turn my microphone on before this. Ooh, that's cool. There we go. That's the noise level I'm looking for. So, welcome back. I forgot to turn the microphone power on. This is supposed to be closer to me. Does that work? All right, that's close enough right there. That's how we do things around here. Um, I got everything all set up around here. I got my microphone, the real microphone rather, put up and set up and ready to go. It's got a very nice placement where I can just kind of move the arm front ways and back ways if I want to like move it out of the way or something like that. And I have it so that I can easily reach the power button for the microphone power. It's very well made, and I did a little bit of cable management for my entire desk, and everything's looking pretty good. Um, yep. Second week of my projects of videos to keep myself and other people entertained. Going pretty well. I feel like some people are pretty rather enjoying it. I think. I don't know if I'm overstaying my welcome as far as making more of those are, but you know, if people keep saying that they're good, then what's the problem in keep making them, right? I made one joke that I thought was pretty good, and somebody who I pretty well respect said that they enjoyed that little line, so I feel a little proud of that. The um, Sir, Madam, and or none of the above line. It was just kind of like a throwaway thing that I've been holding on to for quite a bit, but I like that somebody appreciated that line. Uh, I also predicted that it would get less of a response than the last video because I don't know, there's just a little bit less of a zing to it this time around than the last time. So I kind of knew it was gonna get less of a response, but that's fine. I enjoyed the video anyway. So what does it matter? I've kind of cleaned up the desk a little bit too. There's still just kind of a bunch of crap lying around, but there's definitely a lot more order to it now. And I forget that I don't have the mic wired to my head, so I have to keep my face close to the mic. It's it's definitely looking good. All like the all as many wires as I could are now being filtered through like the cable management hole in the desk here. It's pretty nice. I have the squeezy toy from Dirk Gently in my PC right now. Just because I didn't have any other place to be, and I thought it'd be funny to keep it in there because it's it kind of fits the whole reason of that item in the first place. Um, I've been getting the hang of making videos a lot more now. I made a couple of like quick joke videos just to keep myself sharp and stuff like that. I made one for Lord of the Rings where uh it has the you have my sword, my bow, and my axe scene, but instead of the my axe, I put my band, which I thought was pretty funny, and I haven't seen anywhere else. So I probably should upload that just so I can say that I did it first because somebody's gonna claim that at some point. And in doing that, I got used to working with the pen tool in After Effects, which yeah, ladybug on my face. Get off. Don't tell me. Stop. Stop. Alright, can you hear me now? Am I back again? Are you able to hear me once more? Alright, that was awful. Apparently my good PC is just not able to work well with Audacity because of the write speed on the hard drive that I have. So I have just opted to use the laptop instead. Hopefully I don't sound any different, but who knows. And this, you know what? Mid recording editing because this is just awful. I've now put on the foam cover for this instead of using the pop filter because I cannot be bothered to use this pop filter the way I have it right now. I don't know how I'm gonna have it to where I can use it on looking at both sides, but in the meantime, this is how it's just gonna go because I cannot be asked to try and situate it right now because I want to get this done. Hopefully, you can't hear the bob sweep that's upstairs, currently making our dogs go insane. Uh, but yeah, now I'm stuck between my laptop and my actual computer, and I'm just like staring at the window now, not being able to look at anything on the internet while I talk, which is fine. I guess I can live with that, but really would have liked to look at some stuff while I was on this, which is why I got the PC, which is why I wanted to do this on the PC to, have that extra super processing power. But apparently the writing isn't that good, so I have to now use this. I still have to use the laptop. But hey, I guess that's a good way to keep it relevant, huh? Make sure it stays usable. And it sounds like Bob is stuck. Oh yeah, that's stuck alright. Give me one moment. Well, Bob only had problems with the wires, so I was able to just get him free of those and let him keep doing his work. And I gotta say, 2 minutes into a recording and it hasn't had any writing issues, so I think the laptop version of Audacity is apparently way better than this $1,000 PC I have. Which is always a great thing to know. I guess there is a reason for this laptop to be relevant after all. Aside from that, my dad, me, and my brother have been watching Riff Tracks a bunch and Mystery Science Theater, which has been a hoot and a half, I'll tell you what. Those guys really have a job for a very good reason. They're very funny dudes. And, in the light of us watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I've, been making specially made little segments for ourselves, just for like little jokes that I've made. Something that made me laugh, and I made into video form. And yeah, that's how. That's pretty much what we've been doing. We we realize that the Lord of the Rings movies are so freaking long that we're gonna have to watch them in halves as it goes on because it's so weird. They're like 3 hour movies, but they all can be divided in half and they'd just be fine as a regular movie. So we got, oh, what is it by now? 4 more to go? It's nuts. For the first half of the movie, I got a segment where they said, I talked about this already. It's the "my brand" bit. For the second time, I'm either going to have like the moment where the elf lady goes Super Saiyan, either put Dragon Ball Z over it, or try to edit in a way that surrounds the Single Ladies song. I don't know, I may do the Dragon Ball Z thing. Um, but I'm definitely also going to do the part where the dwarf guy gets ambushed by a bunch of elves and put the Seinfeld thing over that. Seinfeld, because that's super easy and I can just get that done in a flash. You know what? I can do that while I am doing this because this doesn't require a lot of brain power, does it? And hopefully Audacity doesn't glitch out while I'm not looking at it. Because that's part of the layout that I'm working at is that I have my laptop on one side of the desk with my actual PC on the other side. So like if you think of the door as where the PC computer is, my laptop is in the other side of that. So it's kind of a neat setup. I really like it. Not that I've been utilizing it that much. But it is what it is. And I've been enjoying being down here except for all the mosquitoes and when it gets cold as balls during the night. Um, I've been on Facebook a lot, just kind of like browsing through while looking at what people do. One of the people that I talked about who commented on my video has a podcast that he does, and I should probably look at that a little bit because you never know, to kind of look at stuff and see what other people are doing in the same field as you. Kind of get a couple of ideas on what to do for things in the future. I don't know. Could be fun. Could be fun. What else did we do? No, my brother wanted to talk to me about some projects that he wanted to do. Of course, we haven't talked about it, and he wanted to talk about it yesterday. But if we don't get there by today, then I'll bring it to him myself. Because I am interested in doing projects. I'm here for doing school at the same time, and since I've got a nice good handle on school, I might as well be busying myself with other projects as well. And now that I've actually like gotten into the swing of doing things like this, then it's been easier than ever before to do stuff. Um, Hopefully I can keep this going even if things start to heat up as far as school goes, because that'll be the mark of being able to actually do stuff like this, because then I'll be able to go in through adversity and maybe make a living off of this. I don't know. I know when I started this, I said I wasn't going to try and make this as like a living type thing, but yeah, you know what? With the career path and internships I'm looking at, that seems a lot more possible than ever before. And I'm definitely sure if I keep doing this and continuing to improve myself with like Adobe stuff, then I'm sure I'll be able to be a very good candidate for jobs in the future. Assuming that people are looking to hire, that is still up in the air at this point. Um, I guess this is the point in time where I turn to my notes because I have lost the idea of what to say. And ain't that fun when I have to write down stuff for this specific portion. But I guess I had a bit on Sunday where I was kind of scrambling to get classes done. That's always great to say. Right after I say and have a good grasp on classes, immediately go ahead and say that I was scrambling to get stuff done. Talk about not knowing what you're doing. But really, it wasn't bad. It was just like I had four things to do on the same day, and I spent the whole day doing it. So it's like I was fine with it. I was able to get the work done to the quality that I wanted to. So it's like I don't think it was too bad. I was certainly fine with the work that I did, even if it did take the entire day to do it. Um, Watched DuckTales over the weekend because that came back. It was awesome. My brother, I had I had this moment when on Saturday morning where I woke up and started going to the Disney XD, and I knew I recorded it, but like I saw that Gravity Falls was on at that same time, so I kind of started watching that, and then I started watching Big City Greens, and then Amphibia came on. I was kind of interested in that, and then finally my brother came downstairs, and I'm like, oh no, I had a recorder and I've been up for so long. He's gonna know, and he's gonna think I'm a loser for waiting for him or something like that. Which I don't think he would. I think he would understand if I was waiting for him for this. But something just told me that I had to like fib my way to it. So like I faked a whole thing where I remembered that we recorded it and it was just waiting for us. And I don't know why, because I could have just been like, all right, you want to watch? And he probably would have been just like, yeah, yeah, sure. I don't know. I think part of it came from that he's been showing me The Good Place, and that's been an awesome show. So, and me sharing my enthusiasm with something like DuckTales, which looks primarily like a kids show, is feels kind of like we're on two different planes of enjoying things. But that's whatever. It was still enjoyable, I think, to him. Well, it was to him, I know, because he called an episode like 2 seconds into the whole thing, which was nuts. He saw the characters enter a room and dropped the call about how the whole show was gonna be, and he was spot on. It was freaky. So my brother's clairvoyant when it comes to Ducktales. Hopefully, I can get some season spoilers off of him, but that's just how it's gonna be. And I'm now realizing just how dry my throat is when now that I'm trying to talk for long periods of time. It's not coronavirus, believe me. I haven't seen anybody in weeks, but I don't know. You see, here's the thing. My parents have been going out and getting things outside for days on end, so I don't know how their situation is shaping up, but they seem to be taking their precautions. I hope at least. I wouldn't want I really don't want them to get sick or, anybody else in this house because it's been affecting a lot of people, and a lot of people are sending out videos on who's to blame, who is not stepping up as being a leader, and who is ultimately responsible for the outbreak in America at the moment. And like I get it, people are suffering hard because of this whole thing, but trying to blame somebody else for is not going to help. At the moment, we need somebody to rise up and lead us through it. Somebody that can, you know, call the shots as to who is doing what. Because at the moment, every single state is left to their own devices and their own special way of controlling this whole thing. Some are taking extreme measures, some are not even acknowledging it, some haven't even issued stay-at-home orders at this point. And it's up to somebody else to make everyone realize that this is a big deal and um something that's worth people's lives are at stake if you don't do something about it. And the fact that some states haven't issued a stay-at-home order is shocking. And I know that those people in power are able to uh, send out a mandate to make every state do it. They have that power. They've used that power for far more petty things than national safety, but that's just me. I don't want to get on their case for not doing as good as they can because they've been doing a lot, and I recognize that. Our president, granted, it's not an exorbitant amount of money, but our president is sending his paychecks for being president to help the cause against this. But I mean, it's nice and all. It's a good gesture, but at the same time, he's not getting money straight from being president. He's also like getting food and housing and stuff like that. So it's like it's not he's not being president for free. He's still getting food, guaranteed food and shelter and health security and stuff like that. Although he's refusing to wear face masks, so that's doubling back on goodwill. I don't know. I don't like politics. Why am I talking about politics? Let's look at this book and see if I can find something else than freaking politics to talk about. Um, Talked about the video idea I had, which I wanted to just start off with. I started off wanting to do like a continuation on the what I do during quarantine thing, and that kind of stayed with it, but it kind of fell into this whole thing where I was like, ooh, what if I break the realm of reality or something like that? And I don't think it really stuck that hard. That was just kind of like a, just a more cute little effects thing than an actually like good idea. I just want to show off more that I could do the double me trick than anything else, which I found out as well is a lot harder to do on a couch than any other stable surface, because when I was editing it, I had a moment of panic where the couch kind of like shifted in the middle of the couch when I was on both sides of it, even though I tried my best to like stay away from the middle of it as most as I could. But even still, the couch still shifted a bunch. And what I had to do was zoom it in to the point where you can't see the cushions, because the cushions were so messed up in the recording, and I felt like I didn't have time to go and re-record it, so that was just kind of my patch to fix the whole thing. Just kind of like zoom it in to hide the mistakes, and it kind of looks a bit ugly because it wasn't properly focused. So you can so imagine like it's not properly focused, and on top of that, it's a little bit blown out as well. So the ending bit was kind of weak, even though the ending bit was weak. It wasn't that great. I'm glad people got a kick out of the first line though. That's if they're not going to take away something, if they're going to take away something, at least take that away, because maybe it proves that I can be a little bit funny when I want to be. Who knows? Maybe that stuff just comes with practice, and I haven't practiced ever in my life for an extended period of time. Who knows? Maybe I can actually do stuff like that. The second video got good responses. Wasn't outstanding, but I'm glad people didn't tell me to kill myself. Felt good about it. A bunch of quick edits. There was one video I made where it's Scar throwing Mufasa off the cliff to the whole Panic at the Disco song. You know what I'm talking about. I should post that on Facebook as well, just, because I can. I don't know. I just checked Audacity. It looks like it's still not breaking, so that's cool. My PC is $1,000, but just because I use a hard disk drive, it doesn't. You can't use Audacity. That's weird. That's really weird. It can use OBS just fine and not have any problems, but as soon as I try to use Audacity on it, it's just having so many problems with it. I guess that's just how the hard disk drive works and how the programs write their information. So, who am I to judge how things work? I'm not a tech programmer, so how can I criticize what other people do? I did that active transparent or active green screen thing. That's not officially what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it because, it sounds really cool. Basically, the my brand video, I used the pen tool to trace around the shape of the guy's head and cut out everything else around it. So that's why I call it active green screen, because I'm like taking everything else away, basically, and making just one thing stand out from that whole video. And I think it went pretty well, other than that you can definitely see all the mistakes I've made because I had to blow the face up so wide to fit with the dwarf's face. And yeah, I think that came out pretty well. I've set up the video for the Seinfeld theme. I'm not going to do it right now. I've just kind of put up Premiere at the moment just because I want to I want to like get some. I don't know. I want to zhuzh it up a bit just because I can, and no one else can freaking stop me. That's right. All you stoppers out there, you better watch out because you can't stop me. Um, we watched the High School Musical riff tracks this week, and my God, that was hilarious. I kind of noticed that the movies that are so unapologetically what they are far more easier to make fun of because High School Musical is ridiculous when you just kind of like take a step back and look at what's going on in it, and it's just like, huh, yeah, this is kind of weird, isn't it? But the way Mystery Science Theater runs, they just take it to such a dark corner. It's so good. And they had one joke in it that nearly made me spit out my drink because I took a water bottle break at the wrong moment. It was so fun. And then Lord of the Rings started, and that's kind of been a bit of a drag because Lord of the Rings is long and it is not filled with a lot of stuff. Let me just say that right now. Not a lot happens in that movie. Um, and I guess that kind of speaks to the importance of where you watch your movies because I watched it with an avid fan of Lord of the Rings and I kind of enjoyed myself because he was giving me. Granted, I tried to stop him as most as I could from giving me tidbits of information because, you know, I didn't want to get the nerd overload of Lord of the Rings my first time watching it. But he did give me like a little bit of tidbits and kind of talked me down from getting upset at certain things. But now that he's not here, and I have my dad who couldn't care less about Lord of the Rings, and my brother who is uh, more of a neutral party in all of this, boy, I realized just how long and how painfully dragged out Lord of the Rings is. And maybe that speaks to me being way too agreeable with things and not formulating my own opinion. But I kind of came to that in the third movie where the movie like literally ended 5 times. But that is what it is, and I'm fine with how things worked out. We're getting on to movie two, which we're going to do segment 2.1, I guess I should call it, because you know we are going to be taking these in halves because the movies are so gosh darn long and they're not cut up at all. It's like my brother said about The Last Jedi, where they have an intermission point where they end the movie once, but they don't take an intermission, and you know they just let people think the movie's over, and bam, you're only halfway through, suckers. That is how movies are, I guess. They're too damn long for people to enjoyably watch, but they're too darn scared to let people go. They'll just add a segment for the home viewers, even though, you know, they want us to watch it in the theaters. God, that's one thing I'm gonna miss during this whole crisis is going to the movie theater because I don't know, it's become a long lost art, I guess. But I still get a bit of enjoyment going to a theater because, well, a I get to see Greg Marcus before every movie that I see, and that's always a treat. Um, you know, the concessions are they are overpriced, but that they're still nice, I guess. If you're able to get them, you'll definitely enjoy yourself a lot more. And that being said, popcorn is just like the best way to enjoy a movie. I don't understand how like perfect pairings like that ever come into existence, but you know, they really nailed it on the head with popcorn in movies. It's just so satisfying to have popcorn during a movie. Or have popcorn during something very enjoyable to watch, like drama on the internet. And boy, there's been a lot so far. Some people are the anti vaxxers and vaccination people are still hot at it amongst the virus outbreak, and I don't know why people are. Well, I get why, I know why, but I don't understand why people can put everything they have down in the middle of this crisis and still find a way to be mad at each other. It's kind of the reason why I've started doing these videos is because I want people to, you know, not be scared and or mad during this whole thing. Kind of want people to sit back and enjoy themselves as, this whole thing gets situated and people are, risking their lives for this whole thing. And that's another thing as well. People who are out there treating those sick people or handing off food and supplies to people that are going to get them, those people are people too, and they're risking their safehood. They're risking their lives to make sure other people have things to eat, and for people to get treated as well, and that's something that's really cool. I saw an advertisement for Hy-Vee a little bit ago that put all of those workers, as they are working, and put "I need a hero" over it, and it was the coolest thing I've seen. It's kind of like right up my alley. Just take a little bit of something, add a track over it, and it was really cool to see. That being said, I much would rather have them play the Shrek 2 version of "I Need a Hero" because that one is so good. But it's probably best that stays in its given context, because taken out of context, it's still awesome as a song, but it's the whole scene and everything else that really makes it so good. Somebody on the internet said it pretty well that us humans don't deserve the greatness of that scene, and that's true. It's really awesome. And this is where I transition into something else, but I don't have anything else to transition to. So I'm just going to talk about this kazoo and why I want to try and start working with it. Boy, I'm so good at transitions, can't you tell? Yeah, I've wanted to try and I've been thinking about that kazoo a little bit, and I've been wondering, with the guy who did the kazoo videos, the Xenoblade and Undertale stuff, it's kind of inspired me to be like, maybe I could try something like that. Obviously, I can't. I'm probably nowhere close to doing something like that, but maybe as a faraway project goal, if I, have the time and or money to do it, I could do like a kazoo cover for, Rivers in the Desert for Persona 5. That's kind of been an idea that I wanted to do. Do the cover for Rivers in the Desert from a kazoo, but for each part I have one of the Phantom Thieves mask on, one representing each, one of the Phantom Thieves, which I think was pretty cool. Cool idea. I have Joker and Crows, which is probably one of the most popular two that I could get. The next one being Makoto, or Queen rather. I guess I'll refer to their as their code names since that's cooler. The one that's going to be impossible to get is Oracles, because they're like high. They're like, I don't know. They're just like big giant ass goggles that cover your entire face. And the upsetting thing is that like she doesn't even use them that much, so she's not even in. She doesn't use them that often when she's on screen. So like it's kind of like, what's the point of having them if they're like not being used? That and getting green gloves for that thing is gonna be impossible. And that's another point that I should mention, is that each one of them has their own specific glove color, which is a really neat look. But at the same time, that's just a lot more. That's just a lot more parts to have for it. And you can also take it a step further and maybe probably get Phantom Thieves outfits for every single person there. But the thing is, I'm thinking of doing this all by myself, and there's no way I'm ever going to be getting into a Panther costume. that is not going to ever happen. um, that and like the masks themselves are expensive. The crow one that I got, it doesn't even have a strap to put on your face, and it's like $32, and that's on the cheap side. It's not it's not a perfect mask for cosplay. It's there's a little bit of details that aren't in there, and it's a little bit crudely made. But for the purpose of making just like that video, I think it'd work fine. You just get a couple. You just get a little bit of string and tie it around your face, and you'll be fine there. The Joker one is pretty good right now. That's the one I used for Halloween, so that's still fine as it is. I don't know what I would do for Mona. I've thought about this, and maybe I could get like a black beanie hat and get it so that it goes all the way down over my nose, and then stick some eyes over it, but that would just look awful. Maybe I can get something specially made from somebody who likes to make crochet or something like that. Who knows? This is something that is going to be far in the future if I ever do take off in this whole video making thing. So that's something to write down and keep in mind if something like that ever happens. Yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned just like how thankful I am for like being introduced to Persona 5, because like I've never played it, but I've seen like playthroughs of it, much to the disappointment of Atlas, I'm sure. But it's so good, and I wish I had like a PS4 just so I could play that. It's and since Monster Hunter's on the PC now, I have no reason to want a PlayStation 4 for both of those. I'm just upset that it's not on anything else, because it's so good. And Persona 5 Royal just came out, and I'm very arbitrarily trying to keep myself from any spoilers, but realistically, what am I waiting for? There's no reason I should be waiting for I should just kind of suck it up and just watch that, because what like I'm gonna say it again. What am I waiting for? I'm not gonna get to a point where I'll be able to play Persona 5 myself, I don't think, because I'm gonna need an entirely new console just to get it. And like there's no doubt in my mind that they'd have it for PS5, and maybe Royal and the base game can come out for PS5 as well. Although now that I'm thinking about it, maybe just Royal will come out for the 5, because you know that's the better version, I believe. Or I don't know. I don't know the differences between the base and Royal. I know for a fact there's there's like different attacks and characters in it. So like there's that, but other than that, I'm just kind of lost on the whole thing. I've been that, and I've been trying to keep myself from any spoilers as well. So it's my own fault for not knowing the difference. But I have seen reviews, and people seem to be really, really enthusiastic about it. Probably because it's a modern classic game. So like people are kind of like jumping on the whole, oh, this is a great game and everyone in the world should see it. Which I am absolutely one of those people, but at the same time, I'm kind of a little bit afraid of overhype, because I'm afraid of everything getting overhyped. That's the thing. When people start talking about how great something is, it can never live up to the expectations it puts in your mind after you say something is amazing. I don't know. I'm very fortunate to have been told about Persona 5, and me realizing just how awesome that thing is as well. And if you want to talk about more about how praise can lead to unanswered expectations, let me talk about how great Persona 5 is. It's whatever. This is the problem that I have with my brain. Um, Notebook, help me out. I need idea of what to talk about. Um, our dogs have been interesting little animals ever since I came back. Every time that my mom leaves the house to do something, like just recently, they took a day to go to the cabin and put up drywall there, and the dogs were the most silent things you can imagine. I honestly thought that they took them with them until I went upstairs and they were just hanging out on the sofa chair. And occasionally I do let them out and they do run around a little bit and use the bathroom there. But as soon as they get home, Darbus always runs at me and barks at me whenever I like breathe. She's just such a little twerp, and it's adorable the way she thinks she's top of the house. But it's kind of gets annoying a little bit. It's like you can think it's cute from a distance, but after about 10 times of having it happen to you, you're kind of like, "All right, you need to stop." That's that's just how we live. Yeah, I'm complaining so much about how the social isolation is making me crazy. Damn it, these dogs don't ever go anywhere. They're always at home no matter what. So let's talk about their isolation, why don't we? And that's not fair to say. They do go out on trips to when mom and dad go to the cabin and such. So they do get out of the house, but it's not often. Dogs, they lead. People don't like to say it, but they lead rather boring lives than us humans compared to us. Nobody wants to say it, but you know, what has your dog done in their life? They probably entertained you for a week once you got them, but now it's none of those moments are kind of sporadic, aren't they? All right. On the topic of being depressed about pets, um, our cat has been showing signs of age, and her right eye is like getting really goopy and swollen to the point where her like right eye is all milky and kind of gross, and I'm starting to tear up because I'm thinking about eyes. That just kind of happens. You think about an awful thing about some body part, and you can like start feeling that. But they took her into the vet, and they said that maybe that her eye or cornea got scratched or something like that. And our mom thinks that maybe she did it because she was trying to get the goop out of her eyes, and maybe she scratched her cornea when the crust was building up. I don't think that could have been the case. It's very likely, but I don't want to think that, but it's a very real possibility. It is what it is. That cat's getting up in years, and I really would have thought that Mirage would have kicked the bucket before Tiara did, but this is just how we're living right now. Um, uh, yeah, ain't that cool? I don't want to end this on talking about dead cats. What can I talk about? Uh, shoot. Uh, I've been getting up a lot later than I want to, I guess. Boy, here's another bad thing. What happened to compliment sandwiches, Ryan? Start with a good thing, middle with a bad thing, and then the end with a good thing. What happened to that? Um, but yeah, I've been waking up a little too late for my liking. I've gotten into this awful habit where I've been waking up, doing the math problem on my alarm, and then powering right back to sleep. And I always tell myself that I'll wake up, I'll like take an eye break or something like that, even though I've just woken up. You know, and like I know it's bad and I know I'll wake up at noon by the time I want to get up, but it just keeps happening. Apparently, sleepy me is the most persuasive and gullible person in the world because sorry, I always fall for it and I always convince myself to do it. It's just the weirdest thing. If that's not the darndest thing, then I don't know what is. Um, Shoot. God, what can I talk about? No, I don't want to end on a bad note. I'm also not even close to 45. Shoot. This is awful. I talked about cleaning up my desk, but now that my headphones are all over the place, it's a mess again. Why is everything bad all of a sudden? Talk about something good. Um, uh, the desk looks cool, I guess. I'm starting to personalize it. I've got Pichu on the next to my monitor here. My unicorn mug that I probably should start using before it gets all crusty and crappy in there. Um, my hard drive still reads exFAT, so I can get both Mac and Windows stuff on there. That's really cool. Yeah, let's just look around the room and talk about the positives. That 1,000 piece puzzle in the corner over there. It's boy, one day we'll solve it. No, we won't. We actually won't solve it, Epper. And that Steam controller that I got for $12, and I'm, you know, never gonna use. I probably will use it for something, maybe as like a self-made challenge or something, because you can remap the controls to literally anything you want, and that'll probably be funny to do one day. Something about oh yeah, I got. Here's a wild thing about the internet at the moment. There's an ad on Facebook that had like this tactical what is it tactical gear website where you could buy like stuff like combat gloves and monoscopes or monoculars, whatever. I don't know, it's probably just a sniper scope or something like that, but either way they didn't sell guns or anything like that, but they sold combat gloves, sniper glasses, sniper scope, and a tactical pen. And every single one of every single description for those items were the exact same. It had something around the lines of, this thing has the greatest technology and design and is the most toughest and durable of its kind. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it always ended with "of its kind," and I thought that was hilarious. But the thing that brought me to that website was that every single item on there was free, save for shipping, and I'm like, damn. Well, I did look at it, and as far as I know, it was legit. So there's just giving away all their products as long as people pay for the shipping. And I looked at the pen, but the shipping came to about like $15, and I didn't really want to pay $15 for a pen that may or may not work well. And everything else that I mentioned got to like super expensive shipping levels, so I was just kind of like, this isn't worth it. Because 4 items eventually like totaled $50, and I wasn't about that. Even though the stuff says it was hundreds of dollars, and they were giving it away for free for some reason, I really, I really didn't want to pay out for shipping just because of that. Because I'm living under my parents' roof, and I don't want to start spending their money because I don't know if I talked about this. I reached well, I'm gonna go over 45. Ain't that a shame? Um, I got home, and right around the time I did, one of my Amazon Prime payments went through, and I got an overdraft charge for my card, which kind of was like, oh God, how did this happen? And I was able to fix it by transferring money from one account to that. But like as soon as I did, I quit everything, and now I'm like trying to spend as little money as possible during this whole thing. And so far I haven't bought anything in this whole month. This whole month. I haven't bought anything March. So, even though I've been tempted to, there's been a there's a software for my computer that I got that makes it so that I can use my DLSR camera for a webcam, and I can do it for free, but there's a giant annoying watermark on it, and to get the license, it's like actually $50, which sucks, but I people got to get money somehow, right? But I was tempted to buy it. I really, really was, but it's I've been I've been doing fine with just the webcam or laptop webcam, so it's a whatever at this point. Maybe I can save some money and just get the HDMI for the camera and plug it into my computer, but I don't know how that's gonna work. It's it's a weird place to be in. But maybe if I do stuff with a webcam, maybe it'll be worth shelling out that $50 for a one time payment instead of like needing to get um like $1,000 webcam so it can always break on me. Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'm well past 45, and I'm not going to go to 50 just because that's just too much time. That's just too much time. I'm out of ideas, and I don't want to keep looking behind my shoulder to find the time code, so I'm just going to end it here. Thank you. If anybody's listening to this, thank you for watching. Oh my god, I just realized I probably will go to 50 at this point because I have something new to talk about. My brother found out about this project last week, which kind of like the opposite of what I wanted to happen because I just want to be talking about. Uh, I just want to keep myself in a mindset, but maybe as long as I'm doing this, I can separate myself from performing as far. I can separate myself from performing versus just talking about nonsense. But yeah, he said he was gonna watch a couple of things, and I haven't checked to see if he has. I surely hope not, because these things are way too long for any human being to ever want to see in one go. But yeah, that's interesting. He expressed interest in this whole idea, even though it was his to start with. I think in the first couple episodes I talked about how this was mostly his idea way long ago. But yeah, he said he wanted to do some projects or something since I'm like now starting to get in the rhythm of doing things. And I think that's pretty cool because Matt's also doing projects of his own with like a D&D group he has. And some of the stuff I've seen has been really cool, so I rather enjoy I rather enjoy that he's getting to he's stepping over to talk to me and stuff like that. Because of his legitimate job and stuff, he's kind of busy almost all day, but it's really nice that we could possibly do something together. Hopefully, hopefully get some good stuff going on. And I'm gonna just try and stall for 30 more seconds because 50 is such a nice number to end on. Maybe if I just do the ending bit a lot slower, I can make it through. So, thank you. Got my dog is barking at something again. Yep, you can definitely hear that. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you're here, if you're me from the future and trying to regain back your memories, uh, stay strong. You'll make it through it. Good night. Thank you for watching.